Should you buy SpaceX stock when it IPOs? And I want to answer that question for you guys, right? And it really depends on what type of investor are you. Are you a hopeful investor or do you make decisions based off of information, right? And it's really hard to say that you want to be a buyer of SpaceX right now when there's so little information. We don't really know what their debt levels is. We don't know if this is an asset heavy company. We don't know what their cash flow is. We don't even know if they're really profitable. All we do know is that, Elon Musk did say that they're profitable. He said that they're cash flow positive, but we really don't know. If you look on the internet, the company, they'll tell you the company's making anywhere from 15 to $16 billion projected this year. And has projected, but we don't know because they're not public. We don't know yet. That they're gonna be making 40, they're gonna be growing at a 40%, pace, right? And before I even talk about the growth metrics, I want us to think about this before you even think about buying the stock. You're buying a stock that's only making $16 billion a year. And, their estimate when they hit the market is anywhere at 1.7 trillion or 2 trillion. I want you to do a little bit of research. I want you to look at all the companies in the stock market that are, you know, valued at 2 trillion. And it's not that many, so you can easily do the research. I want you to look, is any of those companies averaging $16 billion a year? What are these companies generating in cash flow? What are their projections? Because based off of those assumptions alone, I don't believe that SpaceX should be at a $2 trillion valuation. This is just straight hype. Could I be wrong? Could I be wrong? Of course. I'm pretty sure the people who did their projections and had their opinion of Tesla would tell you that, Tesla shouldn't be at $1 trillion market cap. However, people are very optimistic in what Tesla is. And, if you look at the projection for Tesla, Tesla's projected in 2035, even though, you want to be careful with these long-term estimates by these analysts, they're projected to be at $1 trillion in revenue. Um, so you got to be careful, guys, when you jump into this. If you're a trader, yeah, jump into it. If you're a trader, it'll be great. You'll have a bunch of people just trying to jump on the bandwagon. Going to be a lot of volatility. It's going to be fun for traders. But if you're a real investor and you're trying to invest into something like this, I would say stand clear from it. Let's wait for more information to come out. Let's wait for some more earning reports and let's dive into their filings because right now, just on the surface level, and when you look at the multiples too, like price per share and all that stuff, like the valuations are too crazy to make an initial investment with no information on this stock. So I would say if you're a trader, have fun with it. It's definitely going to give you a lot of opportunity. If you're a real investor, you're trying to learn about investing, stand clear of it for now until we have more information and understand because there are stocks that do have ridiculous valuation ratios. And most likely this stock is going to have some crazy multiples, right? However, like Palantir, you can hear people tell you that Palantir is overvalued. However, it's hard to argue that Palantir is really overvalued when you have a stock like Palantir, growing at the rate it's growing. It's, I think it just posted the last earnings. I think it grew by 70%. They've been growing year over year, I average at 30%. They're projected to still grow year over year at 30%. And they're gonna beat market expectations. Like so Palantir, you could say it's an overvalued stock, and you're correct. However, when you have when you're beating the market expectations by such a wide margin, it's hard to say, hey, man, this stock deserves. Is there any stock out here that deserve to be overvalued? is them definitely, because they're really doing a really good job. But yeah, this one, SpaceX. Listen, I'm very excited. I can't wait to learn more about this company. But I would say stand clear of it just because we don't have enough information on it. And as an investor, we try to get as much information as we can on certain companies so we can make a decision. But we really don't have no information on this besides the little bit of information you could dig up online. We don't know how much cash this business generates. We don't really even know what the margins are going to look like. We assume that it's going to have a high margin because Starlink is what's driving the revenue, but we don't really know. We don't really know. Another thing we don't know is we don't know what their capex situation is like. We don't really know. We really don't know anything about this company to make an informed decision on what the future could potentially be. But I would definitely say if anybody was interested in buying it, definitely buy a little bit. But like I said, I'm not no asset manager. I'm not no financial advisor. I know I'm gonna stand clear of it. I'm gonna watch it. I can't wait for it to go public so I can learn more about it. I can't wait for them to drop some volume so I can read more about the company. But yeah, I would definitely recommend if I was a financial advisor, I would definitely say, we could pick up a little bit, especially if I have billions of dollars. I'll be like, hey, let's just pick up a little bit. But me, I'm trying to get to that, million billion dollar mark. I feel like I could put my money in better places. So I'm going to stand clear of this until I get more information, and then I could come out with a video, giving you guys a good breakdown on what I believe the price target should be, or, something cool like that. But like, again, thank you guys for coming. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe. I'll see you guys for the next one.